Welcome to Roll of the Dice, a Game Master's Guide to Better Role-Playing. I'm Dan.
And I am Grandmaster Lee.
Grandmaster.
Sure, I just gave myself that title.
Yeah. What are you Grandmaster of?
Oh no, you're putting me on the spot. Oh man, you went right through it. So, what are you Grandmaster of? Nothing at all. Grandmaster of this year. Grandmaster of bullshit. Perfect. And yeah, as a GM, you got to be a good bullshitter. So I guess I'm a good liar, huh? No.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I hope you don't lie to us in this episode as we talk about how to bring newbies into RPGs.
Oh, I lie about everything, and I change. I teach everyone wrong, just like wind blows. I taught him how to fight wrong. He hits people with.
I'm bleeding. That means I'm winning.
Exactly. But yeah, we're going to talk about this episode is adding someone new to your RPG group. Maybe someone that's never played a tabletop role-playing game ever.
Oh man, I remember that when I started. My first time. I remember that.
I remember when you were a virgin to RPGs.
Oh yes. The mental trauma that has happened since then,
and the other trauma, but we won't get into that.
Yeah, sure. But yeah,
I'm always excited to introduce role-playing games to a new person that's never done it before. Like maybe they heard about it. I'm sure everyone's heard of D&D. They have an idea. They've seen it on TV. But now, all right, I'm actually going to dive in and give this craziness a shot. And that makes me very excited to introduce the game to someone.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of fun to introduce a game to someone. I've been on it more on the player side of bringing someone into a game and trying to include them into our group. I haven't really been on the GM side for trying to bring new people into role-playing. So it's I think there's things people need to do, both the GM side and the player side, to help make it a fun experience for these people.
Yep. And I think number one, first and foremost, is you got to be patient with this person. Whether they pick up the rules quickly or not, you got to give them a chance to figure out what's going on. Because really, that's the main thing I notice with new players is you help them make a character. They have no idea what the numbers and the stats mean, but you help them. They fill out this whole document, and now they have the document in front of them, and it's just numbers and letters. I don't know what any of this is.
I always thought it'd be simpler sometimes to just give them a pre-generated character that they can look at. It also saves time that they don't get, like, one of the things I always find is sometimes people get burnt out making characters. So they show up for playing this game and you sit down for an hour longer because you're trying to explain to them how to make a character. And suddenly after they're done making the character, like, all right, are we done? I'm kind of tired now. I'm going to go home. And you're like, well, we haven't started playing yet. We just created your character.
They're already burnt out because of all the rules. Like, I don't even know what these numbers are. So, okay, whatever. My brain is done.
And this can also be taken to the point of like introducing people to a new game that you know, but they don't. Because I remember the first time making a character for Battle Lords. I mean, you have to roll through all these, what do you call them, tables, and to create your character and give him backstory. And it takes a long time. And having Jim trying to explain that to me, as well as 3 or 4 other people at once, I think that went on for like 4 hours, 5 hours that we were creating characters.
I think that system is more in depth when doing character creation. I think there's even a die roll on one of the charts where you roll it and your character dies if you roll those numbers. So you have to start over again.
The last table that you roll for your character is you roll 100 or something like that, and it says your character dies.
Start over.
Over, make a new character.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea.
Of course, you can just like not re-roll it and say, okay, well, I'll just re-roll and not choose that one.
Definitely. I definitely like the idea of just sitting down with that new person, by them, maybe have a different schedule or an hour before you're going to play, and maybe give them that pre-generated character, or if they really want to, help them make a character, but just really dumb down the rules also. Just say, all right, we're just going to focus on these things, maybe circle it on the sheet and say so you're a fighter, we're going to keep maybe a simple class, don't have to worry about anything, you're just going to swing your sword, so roll these dice here for this, then roll this here for this, and then add those numbers, and maybe circle it, highlight it, and dumb it down that way. Another way is just say, you have the character sheet in front of you. I'll have a copy of it as a GM. You just tell me what you're going to do, and then I'll roll the dice for you. Or you can roll the dice and just say the number out loud, whatever rolled on that one thing, and we'll figure it out from there.
I think that's a good way too, is if you have them just explain their character. Like I think when we talked about character creation, you had a good way of describing a character and have them explain that character to you of who they want to play. Oh, I want to play a cocky fighter. It might be the simplest thing that they choose. And you're like, okay, we'll just start playing a cocky fighter. And as you go,
Yep.
I'll make notes and I will create your character sheet for you after this game, if we're going to continue on. Or it's like, I'll create a cocky fighter character for you. Either you can have it behind your desk or after your GM screen, like you were saying, or you can give it to them, like create it and say, here it is. You just lay it out in front of you. I'll tell you what to roll when your time comes up. But just play however you want to play it, and I'll tell you what to do when you have to. But just tell me what you want to do.
Because you have so much to explain, and explaining them the rules, let's not worry about that right now. That's a really good idea to do it that way. Because now they have to get the concept of using your imagination, as the GM is in control of everything, explaining what's going on. They have to visualize what's happening and then interact with the other player characters and NPCs too.
So I think that all helps make them, you're saying you want to make them excited about their character, not worrying about the rules, not worrying about what they have to roll, if they're going to succeed because they have so many dice and that, have to use the fighting skills. It makes them more excited about the character when they just have to worry about or just have to think about playing their character, playing the character they want to be or act it out how they want to do it. And then you adjust to that.
Now that they're part of the team, they get their maybe show that they're valuable in the team. They're here for a reason. They're not just here to be a human shield and get killed by the orcs right away. Although that would be kind of funny.
No. I have played a game where I think this was vampire or maybe it was werewolf. I can't remember.
Okay.
I think it was werewolf. But we had someone come in that was only going to be there for a day. And it might have been me. But the other players are like, you're just going to be here for this one campaign. You go and fight, go kill that thing. And, they're like, we're going to sit back here. You go, they just threw me to the wolves. And it's like, werewolf, literally. They threw me that was unintended.
I like it.
But yeah, they just threw me out there expecting me to die because it didn't matter. Because, my character was not going to be there after this campaign. So it didn't matter if he died. So they used me as a human shield. They used me as cannon fodder and hid behind me for things. It's like, they're kind of destroying the point of this game. Like I don't, I didn't feel as welcome to the group. It was fun. It was funny. Yeah. But
maybe they should have saved that towards the end instead of through the entire thing is, well, you don't matter. So who cares? Like, how about at the very end would have been kind of better to do it just for fun. Like, well, we're wrapping up. I'm not going to come back. So let me do something crazy or something that'll benefit the group if I sacrifice myself or not. But yeah. And you say you really didn't feel welcomed because of that?
Yeah. It was hard in a way. No, but we still had a good time and then, and we were friends. But the experience that I had was different than the experience I could have had if they would have accepted the character itself and played it correctly, I guess, in quotes correctly. So, especially if I was a newbie, a new person, it's like, why would I want to come back at some point? Because they're just going to use me
again
to block all the bullets again.
Yep. Did that change how the game was played? I mean, because did you know the world very well?
I did not know the world very well.
So
it kind of did change the way the game was played a bit because they didn't play their characters how they would.
Yep.
Because
they changed the entire experience because of you, and that's not cool. Because you're like, it's basically like a little kid that doesn't know anything and around bigger kids, and you say, hey, little kid, you're hanging out in our group. Go over to that girl over there and give her a kiss. Okay. And then they all laugh, and because you got slapped in the face. That's how I see it. The same way is you're, instead of being part of the group, they're just using you as a tool.
I still had a good time. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, the game was changed. Experience-wise.
And I didn't necessarily make it more mean, like intentional, but the game was changed is what I'm trying to say. You didn't have the same experience that they have been having throughout the game, which is you definitely want to have this newbie feel that they're part of the group, feel that their character matters in the storyline, and that they could be part of the group and not just a one-shot all the time.
Yeah, because then it also opens up that, if I had another time to come back and play the game again or to get involved in another game as a one-time situation, or maybe even more, if this was my first time playing, I may not want to play again, and someone else goes, oh, they're a pretty good knit group. If I come in, they're just going to kill my character off anyway. So I might as well just skip out.
And that can be really hard as you're adding a new person to a longtime group of friends. And sometimes it just happens because you're getting together, having good times, maybe having some drinks or whatever. And just everyone maybe knew each other for a while, or they've been playing the campaign for so long, they have inside jokes. And that can be kind of discouraging for the new person. They can't really help bond because they don't know the joke. You kind of sit there and smile.
I think that, yeah, I mean, they'll smile and stuff like that. If they're going to be there for a while and they're going to be joining your campaign, you can bring them in later. Maybe the inside joke, they'll get it after a while or something like that. But it's frustrating when you try to jump into your inside jokes or situations and they have no idea what's going on.
I'm sure I've done it in a group of friends, and maybe someone new came along that they started role playing with us, and it or just sometimes it happens in regular conversation, even just getting together at a bar or something, and you say an inside joke. It sucks. I've been on the receiving end of that, and I'm sure I've accidentally done that, but as a GM or as players, maybe try to be conscious of it, to try not to do it. Sometimes just having fun and it just slips out as, and that's why the peanut always lands on its side. What are you guys even talking about?
Yeah. It's really awkward when you're at a bar and your inside joke is slit his throat, Johnny, and it's like,
wait, hold on, what?
Hold on, this is really weird right here.
Yeah, wow, slit his throat, Johnny. I don't remember that inside joke.
It's a different Karate Kid movie, right? It's completely...
Oh, the remake, the more violent remake.
Yeah,
instead of giving him a body bag, got him like a fish, Johnny.
I also believe that you want to make sure that you include them in your game. Not only the GM needs to include them, but the players need to include them. And I believe that when you're bringing a new person into the game, the players that are playing are just as much important to making them, excited about the game as the GM is.
Mm-hmm.
So don't put it all on the GM. If you're playing a game, someone new's coming into them, invite them and help them along.
Yep. Another good way is, I guess I could look at my real life experiences. I played D&D since forever, but I really never knew all the different worlds and all the NPC characters in those worlds, all the monsters. And I started playing D&D again about 2 years ago with people that know this world, these worlds, inside and out. They say, oh, you're going to fight such and such monster. And they all know, oh man, this is going to be hard. And I just kind of, wait, what is it? I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, and they're immune to fire. We can't use fire. We have to,
Yeah, and
they need a magical sword to be able to do damage to it.
Yep, and that's metagaming, unfortunately, which is a completely different episode. But
it happens.
It happens, yes, because they know the world inside and out, and they say, yeah, this monster can only be hurt by fire, so everyone shoot fire at it. Well, okay, I know I'm getting a different subject, but as a GM, you have to say, no, roll to if your character knows this or not. But what I mean is, as a player that doesn't know this, I get that fresh experience of learning all this stuff. Maybe my character also is learning it too for the first time. Like, oh, now I know. I'll mark that down as learning something. But also, I guess my real point of the story was that everyone was really good about telling me what it was, or showing me a picture of what the monster looked like in the book. So then, oh, now I know what we're fighting. Everyone else knew, oh yeah, it's got 5 tentacles, and that 5th tentacle you don't want to get hit by. Show me a picture. Oh yeah, I don't want to get hit by that one. Now I know. Cool. Yeah. So giving examples and being patient with them, explaining what things are in greater detail that you normally would or wouldn't do.
And when I started playing, I think D&D. They made a character for me, I believe. I can't remember, but I know I've played games where they gave me my own character sheet and I have no idea what's going on, especially when I was just starting off. And the GM's talking and saying, okay, well, this person goes off and does something over here. You guys are free for a second to go get, a soda or something like that. And some of the other players would sit down and say, okay, well, let's go over your character sheet and I'll talk to you about some of the things on the character sheet. And especially when I just started, it's like, oh, this is your strength. If you want, this is your dexterity. This is what it does, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And here's your special ability you do. You're really good at this. You're really bad at that. And it was good to learn that, because then when I got back in, I'm like, hey, I'm good at that. I'll try that.
It says here that they told me I'm good at that. And then you, yeah, and give it a try.
A D4 is good. All right, let's go.
Let's go for it, man. You're going to do it. So yeah, so you have all that. You have your players, you have your GM helping out the newbie. Maybe after the first session, they realize, what, this isn't for me. They didn't like it. Whether, even though you did a good job with it maybe, or for whatever reason, that's fine. The game is not for everyone, or role-playing is not for everyone. I don't know.
Or maybe it's the style of game might not be for them.
Yeah, the style of game, the type of game, maybe they're more into Star Wars instead of Star Trek. So who knows? And you got to talk to them and ask them, like, oh, what do you like about it? Did I screw up? And really ask them for feedback. What could I do better? Did I not include you? Or maybe it takes time.
Or it's just not, they'd rather hang out and talk and do other things besides sitting around a table and pretending to play a character. I mean, they might not like that at all.
Yep, they might not like that. So that's okay. Just have to exercise them from your life and kick them to the curb because they're no good to you. No.
Respect their wishes and tell them you're never going to be their friend again.
Get out.
Send them on their way.
And that was introducing a newbie to RPGs. If you'd like to send us any kind of question, you can do that. You can do that on Facebook at Roll of the Dice, or send here an electronic email, rollofthedicepodcast@gmail.com. Doing that would be cool. Rating and reviewing us would be cool too, because we put a little bit of time and effort into this podcast, and I think it's turning out pretty good, Dan.
Yeah, I think a rating would be nice. Please, someone rate us.
It could be 1 to 5 stars. I don't care. Just say something.
Something. Someone talk to us. Oh, wait. We did have someone talk to us, and they told us what they wanted to do for our next episode.
Oh, they did? That's right. This is our first episode request from Ben, and he wants to know about world building. So he picked an enormous topic to talk about.
Something we'll probably cover in more than one episode.
I think we're going to. Do like maybe a mini series about world building on all the different things that you have to do for that and the different types of worlds, because that comes into play. But we'll definitely try to help Ben out in world building as our next episode / mini series.
So stay tuned.
I will.
All right. Yeah,
I'm
just you.
I'm on the edge of my butt right now.
Don't leave that seat. Stay tuned for the next episode. And remember, keep shaking those dice, and may your roll be true.